Hello, everyone. How are you? Hey, you know what happened to LA Bree this week? Gavin, Eve, Sam, they're all reunited with the kids. Josh Riley. Izzy's happy she's found her brother. They're enjoying a scenery in 1988. They realize what we're going to do next. And Gavin's like, I want to save my mom. That was taken hostage a couple episodes ago from agents. Levi sees a device that Josh Riley has, and since Levi has military intelligence and experience, he knows that it's a transmitter. He says that blinking red light means that it could follow a beacon that Caroline's activated. Sure enough, they follow the red light to this abandoned building, warehouse. They go in, there's two guards holding Caroline hostage, interrogating her where this virus is, whatever that is. Sam knocks out one of the guards, Levi gets shot, taking out the other one. Sam and Riley stay behind to heal, patch up Levi. The bullet that went through and through, so Sam says, good, be good. The bullet that went straight through, but he's lost a lot of blood. I'll patch him up, meet us here later. Well, that's good. While they're doing that with Levi, trying to patch him up, Eve, Gavin, Izzy, and Josh decide to help Caroline. Caroline's happy she sees her full-grown son, Gavin, all grown up. She wishes she could have been there for the years when he grew up by himself and would not have been adopted. She explains that why she was banished in 1988 is because her and Gavin's grandfather, Elias, was they working with the scientists that went back to 10,000 BC when a sinkhole occurred, and they went down there, the scientists there. They noticed that every time the scientists used the portal to travel back in time, from the past to the present, that was causing natural disasters to happen, like earthquakes, sinkholes, volcanoes, stuff like that. She brought this information to the scientists. They didn't care about what was happening, so her and Elias led a rebellion with other people that was working with them. But Gavin's father stayed loyal to the scientists. He turned evil. So she was banished in 1988. As she's been stuck in 1988, she has this computer virus she has made that she can transfer into the mainframe in the building there, that glass tower building that Gavin's father works for, the Lazarus Project people. That was shut down the portal for good. There'll be no more natural disasters every time it's used. Suddenly, agents show up again and they start shooting at them. They get away free. They meet up with Sam, Rodney, and Levi, who's all patched up, bandaged up. And these agents attack them again, nonstop. Again, they barely get away. Gavin, Eve, Izzy, and Josh, and Riley, and Levi, they all want to stay in 1988. They don't want to go back down below. But Sam feels terrible leaving people like Lucas, Veronica, Lily, and Scott, and Ty, and the rest of the survivors to fend for themselves in 10,000 BC. He said, I can't live with that for my conscience. So he's going to go back down the sinkhole that opened up there when Josh and Riley appeared from that portal, and the sinkhole opened up in Hollywood. That's why, because they used the portal. Everybody decides, okay, we'll get Caroline and Sam there because Caroline wants to go back. They get to the sinkhole. It's guarded by Lazarus Project agents. Gavin knocks him into the sinkhole by driving a four-wheeler, jumping off of it, and knocks him into the sinkhole. That was a cool scene, I thought. As they stand over the sinkhole, everybody changes their mind. They feel bad as well. They all go jump in the sinkhole, and Levi decides to stay in 1988. Suddenly, Eve's distraught because she loves both him and Gavin. But you find out when Sam was patching him up, Sam told Levi Eve's with her husband Gavin, and they got the kids back. You gotta stop having this affair with Eve. It's just damaging their family, their relationship, and that. So that's why Levi's staying up in 1988. He's not going back. Because he tells Eve, fix it with your husband. I'm no longer going to get involved with it. She said, what are you going to do? He said, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to find my younger self. And I'm going to tell him not to make the same mistakes I made in my life and all that. But Eve said that would change the timeline. And Levi said, I don't care if it changed my timeline and that. I want to do it. So he stays up above while everybody else jumps into the sinkhole to go shut down those portals by entering that computer virus in the building and to save the others. The other part of the episode shows Lucas down below in 10,000 BC almost got his entire body covered in those red scars, burn marks. Scott and Veronica helps him to Pablo's tribe. She's there with Ty, and she has seen these burn marks. She says, "Oh, he must have got hit with one of those weapons the Lazarus agents knew, security guards, the energy batons." Scott and Veronica say, "Yes, he got hit with one of them." She said, "There's unfortunately no cure she knows of. He would end up being paralyzed and end up basically dying." Then Pamela and Ty go off. Basically, I go on a date through the wireless. And Pamela finds her husband, the leader of the exiles, with her other exile at a campfire. They ambush him, take him hostage, captive. As they lead him back to the camp, her husband sees Lucas all like with those red scars, burns, and he says, "Oh, I have a cure for that." Everybody's like shocked. He says, "Why would you be shocked? I work with the Lazarus people. I know how their energy weapons work. I know the antidote to save him. I'll give you the antidote on one condition: you free me from being a captive." And he ordered, the only way to do that is by trial by combat. And he asks Ty, challenges Ty. Ty accepts the challenge, but Pabula decides not to have it happen because she loves Ty, and she knows he's not a fighter equipped to fight someone like her husband, because he's ruthless and aggressive and has killed many people. So Lucas, Scott, and Veronica tries to convince her, if there's a way to save Lucas, let Ty fight. Eventually she caves in. Ty fights her husband in a trial by combat. Ty gets his ass kicked, and then he actually does like a cool leg sweep, knocks her husband down, and he grabs the spear and howls it by his throat. And Ty goes to stab him in the throat with the spear, but her husband puts up this hand symbol, which means he surrenders. So Ty wins the trial by combat. So her husband makes this cure, which is some kind of green liquid, powdery stuff in a bowl. They put it all over Lucas's body, and after a while, the red marks and burns are vanishing from his body. They're slowly going away. So Lucas is getting better. But you find something interesting. It shows Pamela's husband all tied up in a tent. Scott shows up suddenly. Scott had made a deal with him that if he threw the combat challenge purposely, let Ty win, he would let him escape anyways, help him escape, but he would still save Lucas's life. But Scott has his change of ways. He says, "No, you know what? Screw you. You're held captive. You know what? You can't do nothing to me." Pablo's husband smirks and laughs. He says, "Do you think honestly I'm that stupid? I gave your friend the cure, but I didn't give him all the agreements." And Scott says, "What do you mean?" He says, "He's still going to be paralyzed some unless I give him the final agreement." So Scott has to let him go. Scott frees him. But then he basically goes back on his work because Scott did that, and he leaves. But before he leaves, he tells Scott that everybody you know in your group of survivors, when I meet up with my fellow exiles, we are going to kill you all. And then he takes off into the night. And then it shows Veronica with Lucas, and Lucas can't move, he can't move his hand. One of his legs is paralyzed still. So there you have it, folks. It was a good episode. Now that Caroline's back, Gavin's father ain't going to be happy, and the rest of those other scientists and that she's back. I am kind of curious what's going to happen when Pablo's husband, which you actually find out at the end of the episode that his name is Tobias, when he meets up with that group of exiles, how vicious and ruthless and savage they are, that group of survivors, Eve's group, are going to be in a lot of trouble. Then, at the end of the episode, when Gavin and Eve and all of them jumped to the sinkhole in Hollywood to go back to 10,000 BC, Gavin had a vision. It shows Eve dead down below. So Eve's going to die now. And Gavin had that vision before he jumped in the sinkhole. But if you noticed, before he jumped in, he had that vision. He could have stopped, but he didn't. And he didn't tell her that the vision was about her. So she's going to die now. So maybe Gavin's thinking maybe there's a way to stop this. But Gavin should know by now all his visions come true. So Eve's going to die, apparently. I wonder how she's going to die, how that's going to affect the rest of her family. Are they going to be mad that Gavin knew about this the last moment before they jumped to the sinkhole? And that they could have stayed in 1988 and kept her alive. And like I said, I cannot wait to see Tobias's revenge with the Exiles against Scott and the rest of the survivors. Stay safe, everybody. Too sweet. Bye.